Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of
Wine and Spirits.
Woo! Yeah! I brought everything but the kitchen sink. Wait a minute. I lied! I actually brought the kitchen sink! That's the name of the wine.
And that's also where the men should be standing, washing dishes, barefoot and pregnant, probably.
Let's kick this off and see how this tastes.
Cheers.
Cheers. This one's rough.
This one tastes like Moscato.
See, I'm not really a sweet wine person, and I don't like the aftertaste of it, so it's a bleh for me.
The aftertaste is a little like tart almost. Isn't it tart?
I don't know. I mean, let's see. What do we got in here? Oh, I can't even see it because we're camping out. Did you notice? Yeah, this is not my favorite. I would probably honestly rate this a 2.
I'm with you. About a 2, but you know what? I'm still gonna drink it
Right.
because no wine shall go to waste. Not in this house.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. Yeah, I would drink it if someone offered it, but I wouldn't buy it again. So that's a no for me. With that being said, I'm going to kick this off with a personal story from elementary, actually. Long time ago.
That's like early 1900s.
I know.
Early 1900s.
I'm not that old. Thanks. She made an old joke. I'm still 25. Mm-hmm. 25.
Definitely.
But anyway, my parents kind of had a similar story, but I'm going to tell mine just because I have more details of it. So back in elementary, my parents never usually let me spend a night at anyone's house. They're very paranoid of stuff. But one time, they actually let me spend the night. So I was at my friend Missy's house. We're sitting around, and she's like, hey, guys, I got something that I took from my parents. Do you want to play with it? And I'm like, what is it?
So it's a good way to start.
Yeah, sinister. Want to play? I'm like, okay. I'm like, what is it? So we went up to her bedroom. Parents weren't home, by the way. I forgot to preface that. And they pull out a Ouija board. Now, I had heard so many negative things about it, so I did not want to play with it. And I'm like, nope, I'm not going to play. They're like, come on, let's play. And I'm like, nope, I don't want to play with it. I'll watch. And then I started telling them about this book. I used to love reading Christopher Pike and R.L. Stein. Those were my books. And there was this one particular book that talked about girls playing with the Ouija board, and one of the girls threw the board, and it was supposedly disrespectful. So she got a burning sensation on her lower back, and it was like in the shape of the planchette. So I was telling them about that, and then I was like, yeah, and in the story, she burst into flames, and like they were like,
God, that's dark.
I know, and they had to put her out and everything.
Jesus.
So I'm like sitting on the bed, and they're playing with it, and they're moving it around, and all of a sudden one of the girls was like, oh, my back itches. It's like, it feels like it's burning.
No.
So we're looking at it, and it wasn't exactly a planchette, but it was red. So they're freaking out. They're running and getting buckets of water.
In case she freaking ignites into flames.
Right, yeah, because, I mean, we're in elementary, so we're gullible thinking this is actually going to happen. So at that point, it started moving by itself. I'm very skeptical about the Ouija board, and I've never seen it actually move on its own. I don't plan on playing with one, so whatever. This is close as I'm gonna get for the Ouija board. Oh, watch. Maybe we can put one on the screen.
I won't do it either.
But so basically, they kept playing with it. They said it was moving on its own, and then they kind of moved the planchette off the board, like saying they were spelling out all this like.
Wait, you weren't playing with it though?
Okay. Nope. I was sitting back watching, and they were spelling out all this like evil stuff. I don't even remember exactly what they were spelling out, but we're like, we're done. We're not playing with it anymore. So my friend Missy goes outside, throws it in the garbage. Like, hey guys, sorry, we had some technical difficulties, so I'm gonna try to remember where I left off. But like, if anyone has kids out there, you know that they distract you, and pregnancy brain never goes away. So I may forget some details after I went through the whole thing. It's kind of like when you have a phone conversation and the other person's line drops and you don't realize they're not there anymore.
And then you're like, wait, what is it?
You're still talking, and then they call you back and you're like, oh, damn, I didn't even know you hung up. That's what it's like. So I think where I left off was the planchette pushed off the board or by itself, but like they kind of had their hands there. They said it moved by itself. So then we're like, we're done.
You're like, what the hell?
Yeah. So we're like, okay, we're done. So then we all went downstairs. Missy threw it in the garbage outside. We came back in, went to bed in her room, and I'm a light sleeper. So I know I would have woken up if someone would have gotten up. So anyways, fast forward to the next morning, we all go downstairs. We're going to get breakfast. All of a sudden we hear Missy scream in the other room, and we're like, what's going on?
Do you think it could have been her?
I don't know.
Okay.
But because I'm a light sleeper. So I would have known if someone got up. Like, can't get past me.
But you didn't know she was up screaming?
No, this was the next morning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So she screamed, and we all ran in there, and then all of a sudden, we see the Ouija board on the couch with that little gargoyle thing sitting on top of it, and we're like, what the fuck? I'm like, burn it.
Burn it to the ground.
So yeah, that's my Ouija story, and that's why I don't play. Like I said, this is the closest I'm gonna get to it. I don't, even when I'm doing investigations with Sim, I like to know ahead of time if they've played with a Ouija board or if there's one in the house, because I don't want to do those kinds of investigations.
Because it's known to bring in dark spirits, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, there's always negative stuff to it. There are some rules. Some of the rules that I know of, correct me if I'm wrong, audience out there, but one of the rules is you're never supposed to play alone.
Okay.
You always say goodbye. So like when you're done playing, you put the planchette towards a goodbye.
Is there a reason why you can't play alone?
I don't know if it's because you're opening yourself up to more attachments or what, but I do know that if you don't close out the board, it could leave like portals open or invite in like negative spirits along with good ones, but like more.
Can I say how weird it is that Hasbro, that's a family-owned game that makes Monopoly, all the fun things for children, also has like a fucking spirit board?
Yeah.
Like what?
Because it's supposed to be like a fun entertainment, kind of like a seance and stuff like that. But there's been so many movies, like obviously The Exorcist, that show the downside to it of people getting possessed and inviting things in.
The Exorcist, she was playing with the Ouija board? I didn't know that.
Yeah, she was playing by herself. And she contacted, remember, Mr. Howdy. That's who came through, and and it was actually, I don't even want to say the demon's name because I don't like saying their names, but she actually pulled through a demon.
Is it based on a true story?
It's supposedly it is, but I don't know. I mean, some of the facts are true according to the priest that was there, but Hollywood fabricates a lot of stuff and they embellish. Like the Amityville Horror House isn't even the real house that like was portrayed in the movie. But yeah, so that's my Ouija story, and I don't know. I mean, have you played with one?
I will not.
Okay.
That scares me. But I also grew up in a house where they said that is the devil's work, and so I was always like, no, don't come near me.
Like I'll watch, but I won't play. I'm too afraid because I am sensitive. So I'm afraid something's going to get attached to me or possess me or something like that.
Well, it is scary. It's legit.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. It is creepy and I won't play it either.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll surprise her one day with a board. I'm just kidding. I won't have that in my house, but
what's happened last time in one of our episodes, I don't know if you want to bring that in here. Bring that bad juju.
I know. So weird. Have you ever, did any of your other friends play Ouija after that?
I do have some friends that play with it. And actually, one of my friends, I might have her come on as a special guest so she can talk about her experiences and everything. I don't know if she's had any haunted experiences with the Ouija board, but she does have it like displayed in her house and everything. She's got her house could be a museum. She's got a ton of cool stuff. I think you've seen her dress up sometimes on her page. I don't know if you have Samrith. I'll have to show you some cool stuff.
I think you've showed me.
I showed you the nun one.
Yes.
Yep.
And her costumes are freaking awesome.
Yeah, she does a really good job with makeup and everything. She would always do our zombie makeup for zombie pub crawl.
What if we had a special guest and we did zombie makeup?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. That would be fun.
Come on, Sam. That'll be fun.
Yes. We're doing it. We're making it happen. But yeah, so that was my Ouija story. I don't know. I mean, every movie that I've seen, every horror movie, obviously, there's always something negative with it, and something always happens bad to the user. Or, and another thing that creeps me out is the most religious people seem to always get affected the worst.
Right. Well, it's a good thing.
Yeah. But I'm just like, and that creeps me out too. I mean, that's another concept, not just about the Ouija board, but like religious people being possessed and, like the exorcism of Emily Rose, her going into the church and still being affected by this demon. Like that creeps me out because, when you look at it, religious artifacts are supposed to help. They're supposed to ward it off. And
clearly,
and some of these movies show that it doesn't always work. And that scares me.
Well, like your story about like the Ouija and stuff, it kind of reminds me of, did you ever play Light as a Feather?
Stiff as a board.
You did?
I did play that.
Did anything happen?
Well, one of the times that we played, it kind of felt like the girl that we were lifting up was getting lighter, but I don't know, because you know how there's like mass hysteria or mass paranoia, or is it hysteria or paranoia? Where like you believe something and if enough people believe it, then it kind of makes it feel like it's real. So I don't know if it's because we all were like, yeah, she's getting lighter, and we're all thinking it. So maybe that's why it was, or maybe it was really happening.
That kind of reminds me.
I don't know.
Light as a feather, stiff as a board.
Yeah.
Playing as a child.
I know. And how morbid is that? Because it's a game where you have to talk about the person like they're dead. Like you say, do you remember? Okay, maybe we played differently, but...
No, I think no.
This is how we played. We did, before we said the light as a feather, stiff as a board, we talked about it like, for instance, this is Emily. Emily had a great life.
We did.
Emily,
we did
and then
like
you
that.
talk about it, and then you talk about now Emily's 6 feet under, and Emily's something like that. And you talk about Emily like you're remembering her, like she's dead.
God, we were creepy as kids, weren't we?
Right? Messed up.
That's a little weird.
Messed up.
I'm like, if I caught my son doing that, I'd be like,
yeah, I know. I sheltered you from watching stuff, but I'm thinking about it. I'm like, I was watching Nightmare on Elm Street and all this stuff when I was younger.
Chucky.
Oh, Chucky. I mean, we're
the dolls.
We're gonna have to do like a horror movie segment now. Now that we're talking about it, but yes. So I don't know. Ouija boards creep me out. That is the one thing I will not mess with. That's the one thing that's off limits for me.
And if you guys have any Ouija board stories that are like interesting or scary, fun, just let us know so we can talk about it.
Yes, send them in. And again, as always, if you like the content that you're seeing, go ahead, like and subscribe. We'll put the kitchen sink just in the description below. I didn't like it. But we'll put it in there for you guys because someone out there might like it, like sweet wines. I'm more, again, like I said, of a red wine.
Yeah.
Oh, and we got a good question about why we consider this a podcast and, like, why do you call it a podcast when we can see you? So the reason why we consider it a podcast is because we're trying to do like a flexible format where if you want to watch it, you can, or if you don't want to see our ugly mugs, you can listen to it on the way to work. So that's why we call it a podcast, because we're trying to be creative and give you both visual or just audio. So that's it. That's a wrap.
Yeah.
One more time. If you like us, like and subscribe.
If you don't,
Like and subscribe. I'm just kidding.
or don't.
But that's it. We're going to wrap it up. Another great
we are.
episode. Thank you, and we'll see you on the other side.
Bitches.